Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And as you can see, we're still in Foundry Virtual Tabletop version 10, build 291. Let's go ahead and jump right into our async and await part 2. So in our last episode, we kind of glossed over, more or less, I guess, the async and await. Well, we didn't really gloss over it. We jumped into it a bit. But now I want to use it kind of in the example that follows kind of the evolution that I've been saying that I was trying to do this whole time with going from callbacks, evolving into promises, and evolving from there into async and await. So, of course, for this, we're going to want our little character, so we're going to do that. Looks like the whole thing no, actually that's all lined up. Surprisingly, that time it lined up. And then I don't have any real comment thing to read, so we'll jump right into it. So as with our promises, we created a variable called have core, I think it was. So let have core for the core rulebook equal true. And then we had our little function to do the time, right? We would pass in the time and it would create a promise based off of that. So I'm going to copy and paste that like so. So just to really quick remind you what it is we are simply having a function that has the milliseconds that we need, and we're resolving, so we're returning a new promise, and it will be whenever this milliseconds is if we have the core. If we don't have the core, it's going to reject it. And this isn't the async function, so I think we're good there. All right, so let's go ahead and do our other thing, which is our steps. And what you're going to see here is this is even going to be a lot nicer and a little easier to follow than our previous ones. And we'll even have our other blocks in there and stuff. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. So what we're going to do with this one, because we're simulating that time, that's why we have this little guy right here that's simply going to, after this many milliseconds, it's going to set it, it's going to return the resolve portion, which means it will succeed in the try block. We're not actually going to have any failed things in our try block like we did with the await on just a single thing. Technically, we'll just be awaiting time, and it's just going to be this little timer that runs. Trying to think if there's anything else. So basically, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and do a ginormous copy and paste, and we'll kind of talk about that. I don't know if this is going to be a full-length episode. I think this might be able to be completed fairly quickly. But let's before I do that, let's go ahead and create our async. So we will go into here and do ASYNC FUNCT function, and this will be our PC function. We're not passing anything in, and boom, there we go. We'll go and create our try catch finally block. So there's try. In catch, we do CAT, CH, and remember that we pass it error. So it's going to pass in whatever error was returned. And you could end it there, or you could add the finally block, which we're going to add like so. So once again, for our finally block, we're going to go ahead and do a console log and just say this will always display. So we're going to put that like so. And our catch block, we're going to do a Houston we have a problem. like so. And we need to call our PC. Don't forget that. So PC, there we go. And after that, I'm going to have a little thing that, you know, I've been sticking something in there to show that it still does run. So this is not paused. And then we'll have a carriage return after that. Maybe we'll stick one before it just in case, you know, just to make it stand out, like so. And then we're going to have our ginormous try-catch part, our try part. So we're going to copy all of this, Control C and Control V. So right off the bat, you can probably see, yes, that looks a lot nicer. You know, it's not so jumbled. It's not like, oh, I can't tell what's going on. You can see here, step one, we're going to wait. Time, we're going to pass in 1000 milliseconds. So it's going to come up here. Because we don't really have anything going on, it's simply going to use the resolve function. After 1000 milliseconds, 1 second, then it's going to go ahead and return. If we get the reject, then it will go ahead. If, you know, if we close our store or close our book and set this to FALSE, then of course it's going to fail. In fact, we can go ahead and run this and then we'll kind of walk what's going on. So let's go ahead, hit F12 and clear that. And right now, right up front, you can say we do not have the core book handy, so you can see that that is our reject. This is not paused, so because it failed, then it went ahead and said, okay, I failed. But because it's still running, it goes ahead and does our exit. This is not paused. And then because it always does the catch, or it does the catch when there's a failure, we get the Houston, we have a problem. And then the finally, which always executes, this will always display. So the reason we're getting the this is not paused is because we are doing an await, and it is waiting 1 second. So even though it seemed to come up instantly, well, actually it doesn't do that 1 millisecond thing. So what it's doing is, because it's failing, it's going ahead and turning everything back over to the main program, which executes this, but then it's also returning and jumping down to the catch clause and then the finally clause. And it's happening so fast that you don't actually even, you know, catch what's going on. Does that make sense? I don't think so. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll set it to true, and we'll go over what is happening here. So TRUE. So now when we do this, we should see exactly what we've been seeing with all our others. So paused is running right away because of our first await. So we're getting this is not paused. Then because we have an await as our very first thing, we're not seeing anything else appear. And finally, there's our gear, and there's our this will always display. So as we were showing before, the reason we were in our other thing, it was, you know, doing the starting, and then we get like right here or something, and it's say, you know, this is not paused, or this is running, even though there's this big chunk of junk up here. It's the reason we're getting this instantly is because the very first thing we're doing in our thing is starting an await, which is going to say, okay, I'm going to await whatever this needs to return, and once it returns, I will continue. So at this point, it's telling PC, hey, I'm waiting for something, go ahead and continue, which then jumps to this section of code and says this is not paused. And then that second elapses, and it goes ahead and says, okay, now character was selected, and you can see we're following the same time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 500 milliseconds. Then we have 2000, 1000, 2000, 3000, and that's the end. So yeah, this only took 10 minutes to kind of explain. Trying to think if there's anything else that we really want to talk about. This could be a super short episode, opposed to, I guess I could always stick it on the end of the other one and make it be like a 30-minute episode. Maybe I'll do that because this is only 10 minutes, but I did want to show you kind of evolution-wise what's going on. And as you can see, if we go, we can close this one real quick. If we kind of go look at this evolution, you can see how it gets easier and easier to read. So as you can see, here was our first one, the callbacks, and it just gets really ugly with all this stuff here. It's hard to go here and say, oh, how long is this pausing? I have to click here and then go, okay, this is 2000 milliseconds. The promises made it a little easier, but still pretty complex because it's just this giant chain of thens, which still is pretty ugly. And then finally we get to the async and await, which makes it much nicer because we can see, oh, it's pausing this long and then it's doing this, pausing this long and then doing this. So I think that's it. I think that completes our different things, and I will probably attach this to the end of the previous video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, excuse me, comment, like, and subscribe. Click the little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We can grow the channel. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy. And yeah, that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.